So what's good? What's good, homies? What's good? It's your man King Ray Ray. Y'all go ahead and put the one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear, man. Put the one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear on the King Ray Ray Show, man. I thank y'all, man, for coming back to another episode of the show. We got a phenomenal show lined up. Quick early morning motivation. We're gonna try something different, man. So every morning, Monday through Friday, we're gonna come on at 9:10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Go ahead and set your timer. Every morning, we're going to come in at 9:10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we're going to go about 25, 30 minutes on a morning motivation. And so we're going to start it off with the perfect segue into this particular show, and we're going to title it, God Wants to Bless You Today. And we're going to talk about 8 things that are keeping you the other 8. We're going to talk about 8 things that are keeping you from being blessed by God the way that you know you should. There are 8 things that you harbor inside of you. There are 8 things that are affecting you in a negative manner. There are 8 things that are being detrimental to your path. There are 8 things that are becoming insurmountable obstacles in your life that are keeping you from growing to where you need to grow. And that's what we're going to talk about. Because God is waiting for you. He's waiting for you to get to where you need to be in order for you to be blessed. All right? So let's talk about it. GLG, I see y'all in the building, man. We kind of on the run today, so we're going to have to go ahead and get into it. The first thing that's holding you back from getting to the position you need to be for God to bless you is fear. Now, what do we mean when we say fear? I'm not talking about you go outside and you see a snake and you be like, oh, let me get away from the snake. Or you read the newspaper and you hear about all the crime that's going on and you're like, oh, I can't go outside. That's not the fear I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fear of changing yourself, the fear of growing into what you need to be, the fear of moving away from the people you need to move from, the fear of possibly being in a totally new environment, the fear of having to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know, you're not right, you better get right. That fear, the fear of change, and not just the fear of change, the fear of effort, energy, and focus that it takes to change. A lot of people are afraid of the effort of change. When you get so used to being a certain way, you fear the effort of change. Oh, change is so hard. Why don't I just stay where I'm at? I'll just make slight adjustments to who I am now. I'll just make slight adjustments to how often I deal with the people I deal with. No, God wants to bless you, and He's not going to bless you while you're dealing with those people. God wants to bless you, and He's not going to bless you while you're in those areas. God wants to bless you, and He's not going to bless you while you're engaging in those activities. Living a life of sin is like being an addict. You got to quit cold turkey, man. Unless you want to waste your time trying to go through some rehab. You got 2 choices. You quit cold turkey or you go to rehab. Which one are you going to do? Which one better suits you? Which one is your fear of change, fear of the effort of change going to keep you from doing? Famo, represent, man. Salute to you, man. Got to give a shout out to the Mod Squad. The second thing that's keeping you from receiving the blessings that God has for you because you can't get to the place you need to be where those blessings are. The blessings are waiting for you. You better get there. Is resentment. Let me tell you something. Your resentment for others, your resentment of what others have done to you, they have already cost you blessings already. You resent the people who did something to you before, so now there's a person in your life or people in your life that God put in your life, and you resent the people from the past so much that you can't embrace the blessings of the people that God put in your way. You resent all of the things that you've experienced in the past that you can't open yourself up for a positive experience. And here's the thing, man. God gives you something so great that deep down inside you know you don't even deserve it. That's what God does when He sees you wanting to come out of the life you're living and go into the life He wants you to be in. When He knows it's in your heart, He'll give you something so good that you'll know in your present state you don't deserve it. But if you harbor that resentment, you can't even move past it. That's when your fear comes in. Well, I don't want to be hurt again. I don't want nobody to take advantage of me. I don't want to be misled. I don't trust it. All people are the same. This is how somebody else started off or whatever it is. Yes, of course that's how someone else started off because everyone knows what good is. See, when someone is faking being good, they act just like someone who is really good. They can't fool you if they don't act like someone who's really good. We all know what good is. So someone has to act like a really good person, even if they're bad. But when you let that cloud your judgment, and now you're looking at everyone, wait a minute, now this is how it always starts out. I'm not telling you to go head first into everything blind. I'm telling you, don't let your resentment for your past keep you from catapulting into the future from your present position. That's all I'm saying. Don't let that resentment do it to you. Some people are harboring resentment from years, man. Listen, some people in their 40s and 50s are harboring resentment from when they were 15. You almost wasted your whole life, man, carrying that resentment. Resentment keeps you from embracing who you are. If you resent the things, anything that made you who you are, then you, in essence, resent who you are. And that leads to the third thing. The third thing, it leads to desperation. See, when you waste 1 year, that's okay. When you waste 5 years, okay, that's okay. When you waste 10 years, oh, we getting there now. When you waste 15, 20 years with your fear from your resentment, that leads to desperation. And boy, God ain't gonna never bless nobody that's desperate because he can't trust you. He don't know what you're gonna do. He don't know where you're gonna go. He don't know who you're gonna help. He don't know who you're gonna hurt. Desperation. What do we say all the time? Desperate times call for desperate measures. And you know the funny thing about desperate measures, but it ain't that funny at all, is desperate measures have no ceiling. There's no limit to what a desperate measure could be. You could hurt everybody or you could hurt nobody. You could help everybody or you could help nobody. You can live or you can take yourself out. Like desperate times call for desperate measures. And if you are living in a moment of desperation, you will compromise yourself in ways that aren't of God. You will compromise your sanity. You will compromise your sanctity. You will compromise your body. You will compromise your mind. You will compromise your finances. You will compromise everything. Because when you're in desperation, there is no clarity. There's not even a moment of clarity when you're in desperation mode. Desperation mode puts you in survival mode. Survival mode draws all type of negative energy into your life because it is a very crafty, very unscrupulous, very unforgiving, very inconsiderate, very thoughtless, very conniving state of mind to be in. So no matter how good you are at your worst self when you're in a moment of desperation. You become a monster. There's big monsters and small monsters, but you become a monster nonetheless. You become an animal. Desperation. Think about a lion. A lion loves to hunt, but in a moment of desperation, a lion will become like a hyena, and it will also consume an animal that has already been dead for a while now. It'll consume carrion, just like a hyena, but only in desperate times. Animals begin to eat their own, but only in desperate times. Predators that are enemies, they will take each other out, but they won't eat each other unless the times are desperate. The fourth thing that will keep you out of their way, because here's the thing about desperation. Desperation leads you to believe that, oh, now is my time. I'm entitled to a good time. Whether you change yourself or not, you think you are entitled to a better life, entitled to better things, entitled to a better way, entitled to a better result. Entitlement is the one thing that will keep God the farthest away from you. Because how dare you think you deserve anything when you look at your life and you look at the things you've already done. That's why you got to be humble. Even when you bless, man, you got to be humbly blessed. You got to you got to be thankful for every blessing you get. I'm talking about so thankful, boy, that you wouldn't dare have a negative outlook on any blessing you get or anybody who was a part of that blessing. Because guess what? You didn't deserve that. You got that blessing because God is merciful. But if God held you accountable for everything you've ever did, you know good and well you don't deserve no, even if you curse your mother and father before. Even if you've dishonored your mother and father before. Even if you spent years consuming abominable meats like swine and seafood. And for the people who think that we're banishing all meat, no, I said swine and seafood. I didn't say if you're not vegan, I didn't say that. But there are abominable meats that we should eat. I'm talking about the chosen people of God. I'm talking about the children of Israel. If that ain't you, then it don't matter. I'm not talking to you anyway. You just listening. Now sit over there in the corner and be quiet while I talk to the people that I'm talking to. You have this sense of entitlement. Somebody, anybody, everybody owes you something. But don't nobody owe you nothing. You the only one in this world that owes you something. You're the only one. No one owes you anything. And I'm talking if you're an adult now. If you're a child, of course, of course, your parents owe you protection and provision. But as an adult, no one owes you anything. Only thing someone owes you is what they promise you. People that are legally married, they owe one another to honor their vows. They owe one another loyalty. They owe one another dedication. They owe one another faithfulness. You owe someone what you promised them. But just to go out into the world and say somebody owes you something, no, everything you get is a bona fide blessing. I'm talking about a bona fide blessing. And you got to remember that. Sense of entitlement make God look at you and say, what? You deserve what? And then he run down that list of things. Oh, you don't remember this, do you? Oh, so what about this right here? What about this? What about this? What about all these times that it could have been the end for you? What about all these times where you know you should have been punished and I gave you a pass? What about all these times where you know you deserve worse punishment and I gave you just a smack on the wrist? Well, what about these right here? What about all that? So how are you entitled when God has already given you a multitude of blessings, more blessings than you ever deserve in your life? Let me tell you something. Mercy is a blessing from God. The strength to make it through things, that's a blessing from God. You have to know that. So I want y'all to understand that. Another thing. Now, what does entitlement could lead to? Entitlement leads to a very phenomenal thing that a lot of people overlook. Entitlement. Entitlement leads to the fifth thing that will keep God from blessing you, and that is laziness, slothfulness. God ain't gonna bless nobody that's lazy, man. Look at the ant slugger. Without having a leader, without having a guy, without having a general, goes out in the summertime and collect all the food that they need for the wintertime so they ain't got to come outside. Look at some birds during nesting season. Look at them when they nest. They have those young birds that teach them how to fly. And then they take them down and show them where the food is. And then they go and show them how to catch other food. The real food that's going to be everywhere. They teach them how to catch insects. First, they take them to the bird feeder when they're young so they can get their strength up. Then, you know what they do? They take them out and then they show them how to catch insects. They show them how to catch seeds. They show them what berries to eat. They show them how to avoid the predators. They show them all of that. You know why they show them that? Because they're not lazy. That's why they're blessed to come back every year to the same place and nest again and create more young. Why? Because animals live instinctively. With instinct, there is no laziness. Now, granted, we do live in a society of laziness right now. We live in a society where no matter what time of year it is, you can go to the grocery store and buy something that's not even in season. Do you understand that certain types of meat isn't supposed to even be available in certain seasons? You go certain places, you can't get it. But they keep it stored in these freezers and these groceries so you can always have access to it, which means you're lazy. When the last time, I want you to put a one in the chat if you done fished or hunted any food that you've eaten in the past 6 months. In the past 6 months, put a one in the chat if you've hunted or fished for anything that you've eaten in the past 6 months. And if you haven't, then you understand what the laziness is compared to what our ancestors before us had when they had to go out and get their food. They had to go out and get their water. They had to go out and when the woman had to wash clothes by hand. When you think about all of these things, then you understand, brother, that we live in a society, but I'm talking about the type of laziness that you do yourself. The type of laziness where you want something, but you don't want to work for it. The type of laziness where you see something, but you don't want to go for it. The type of laziness where you feel like you deserve something, you're entitled to something, but you ain't gonna do a thing to go get it. That's what I'm talking about. How is God gonna bless you when you won't even try to make your way to the blessing? God is telling you, go there. That's where your blessing is. God is telling you, how about over there? There's a blessing for you over there. What are you doing? Sitting looking. Ooh, boy, I hope that thing come roll this way because I ain't finna move that way at all. I ain't going over there. I don't want to go over there. Why am I going over there? That blessing need to roll over here to me. I've been through so much and everything's so hard and people are against me and all of this right here. So I don't feel like I should have to move over there. I feel like it should come to me. That blessing should come to me. God, you see what I'm going through? Well, you're going through what everybody goes through. What's so great about you that you ain't got to put in the effort to go over there and meet your blessing? God already put the blessing over there. He ain't telling you, come over here and I might bless you. He telling you, come over here with his blessing is. I got something for you over here. And then the thing is, some blessings he does send you. Man, let me tell you something. Anyone who feels like they can do everything on their own and they don't need any assistance from anyone, that's what their laziness has led them to. It has led them to believe that whatever they don't have, whatever they haven't accomplished, whatever they haven't seen, the bad things they've gone through, it's all about other people. It's somebody else's fault. Somebody else did this. Somebody else is the reason for this. Somebody else contributed to this. So you sit around and you say, well, I've been working real hard and these people have been holding me back. I've been doing everything I'm supposed to do, but these people have been getting in my way. I've been holding my end down, but these people have been trying to sabotage me. No, you have done the sixth thing. You have self-sabotaged. God does not care about you sabotaging yourself. He look at you like you're a fool. So you just gonna sabotage yourself? None of us is perfect. God knows the things that we need the most work on. None of us is perfect. He knows the thing we need the most work on. You ain't got to put it in the chat, but you got that thing you need to work the most on. You got that thing that's I'll say your Achilles heel. You got that thing, boy, boy, listen, boy, that is your vice right there. That is your particular vice. So God give you that one, long as you're working on it, long as you keep trying to get better at it, he give you that one. But all these other things, come on, man, you can't self-sabotage yourself. You can't look at the thing and say, well, you know what? No, fear is self-sabotage. Resentment is self-sabotage. Desperation is self-sabotage. Entitlement is self-sabotage. Laziness is self-sabotage. But let me tell you the worst form of self-sabotage. You make it all the way to the blessing. Or even worse than that, you make it halfway to the blessing. And God put somebody in your life to get you all the way to the blessing. And you turn on all of that. You sabotage all of that. You sabotage that valuable relationship that God has put in your life. You sabotage those valuable connections that God has put in your life. You sabotage and waste those godly capabilities that God has put into your life. I'm talking about, man, the capability to do things that you know can only come from God. And you're going to sit and sabotage that. And then you're going to sit back, woe is me. Woe is me. Don't nobody love me. Don't nobody care about me. Don't nobody want to. Man, what are we talking about around here? Get yourself together. Stop self-sabotaging yourself and self-help yourself. Self-heal yourself. Self-build yourself. Don't look at your life and put it on God. Put it on you. It's on you. And let me tell you another great form of self-sabotage. Another great form of self-sabotage is when you tell yourself, it ain't even no God. There ain't no God. If there was a God, why would I be going through this? If there was a God, why would I be doing this? If there was a God, why would I be feeling this? If there was a God, why would I be? You might as well give up at that point. You're done. And you know how you know you're done when you get to that point? The people of God, the people that God put in your life, they just start drifting away from you. They just move away from you. Because at that point, their connection to you, they don't have a connection to you. It just dies. It dies all of a sudden. And then you really start to feel like, well, people are moving on and moving on. And so those same people who were just there on God's behalf benefiting your life, you know what you start to do? You start to envy those people. Now, you start to envy them because of their relationship with God, but he was talking about the same God that you don't believe in. Envying people, brothers. Let me tell you something. Envy is the most self-destructive emotion you could feel. I call it an emotion for lack of a better way to put it. But envy, boy, that is the greatest form of self-sabotage. There is nothing worse than envy. Because when you envy someone, you don't even focus on yourself anymore. You just focus on them. Not because you want what they want. Envy doesn't mean I want what you want. I may be jealous and be like, man, I want some of that. Or and I'll use it as motivation. I'll be like, man, that dude, man, he on, man. Then I get about it. I figure my thing out. Envy is when I don't even want what you have. I just don't want you to have it. I don't want it. I know I ain't gonna put in the work to get it or maintain it. I don't want it. I just hate to see you with it. Think about the people in your life. Think about the people you know that just hate to see you with it. It boils down to sometimes you don't even know those people. You don't recognize them. The people that's always telling you what you don't do for other people. The people that's always telling you, you change now. The people that's always telling you, you think you better than us. Well, guess what? I am better than you. We are not all even Steven. When you think about people looking at your life and saying, you don't deserve your life. You don't deserve what you have. You don't deserve your blessings. You don't deserve your skills. You don't deserve your likability. You don't deserve the people that want to be around you, the people that like you, the people that want to be around you because they feel your positive energy. You don't deserve that. And you have to stay away from those people, man, because they will genuinely do whatever they can to sabotage you the way they sabotage themselves. You have to stay away from people who self-sabotage, man. All they can do is envy you. That's it, man. That's it. Some people are so envious, man, that they end up having to cut people off because they envy them so much. Some people are so envious that they're embarrassed to be so envious, so they just say other people are envious of them. You ever seen somebody who hadn't done anything and say somebody is envious of them? Somebody who hasn't even connected with the Most High, somebody who hasn't even connected with any higher power, I'm talking about internal higher power, finding their higher selves, finding their positive selves, finding their upper chakra. They haven't found, whatever you want to call it, they haven't found it. They don't know what it looks like. But everybody envies them. When you hear somebody saying that, they're the most envious person you've ever been around. And you have to watch envious people, man, because they will pray against you. And I'm going to tell you something. You may think because you're a godly man or a godly woman that a person's prayer can't affect you, but it can. Because you have opened yourself up to that person. You have let your spiritual guard down with that person that God has already shown you shouldn't be around. God has shown you that you shouldn't even be around that person. And so now their prayers are working against you. A lot of time we'll be talking about the craft. It don't even be the craft. You just have let your spiritual guard down and got close to someone who is not right, who is not righteous, who lives wrong, who thinks wrong, who is wrong. And you have let your guard down and become connected to that person. So their basic prayers are working against you. Not the craft, not no spell, not no voodoo. Their prayers are working against you because you have become so spiritually weak that you develop an affinity for a person that God has been telling you to stay away from. Do you know how much you have to lower your spiritual guard in order to develop an affinity, an emotional connection to someone that God has told you to stay far away from? Do you know how upset God is with you? Do you know how God is looking at you saying, you fool? What are you doing? That is why my circle is so small, man. Listen, let me tell you something. My circle don't even connect. That's how small it is. It don't even connect. It's more like the letter C than it is a circle. It really is. Like I don't have a circle. I have a S. You dig? That's real talk, man. I have a S. So let me get these super chat, man, before we talk about this last thing, man, and get on out of here, man. I ain't gonna hold you long. I know it's early in the morning. Morning motivation with King Ray Ray. Cubit, appreciate the dub. Salute my Nazareth brother. Salute to you, brother. Salute. Famo, appreciate you gifting the King Ray Ray Show membership, brother. I appreciate it. I don't know if y'all can do that, man, but you can gift the memberships to people that you think should have them, man. You can do that. So that's something we're looking into. That's an incredible gift to give someone, especially someone you know who is ready to make the transition and just needs to be informed of the proper route to take to make those transitions, man. It's a phenomenal thing. Mike D, appreciate the dub. I appreciate the message. Still a work in progress and enjoying the journey. Hey, brother, we're all still a work in progress. Don't ever think you're going to stop being a work in progress. You're going to be a work in progress all the time. That's what it's going to be. So, fear, resentment, desperation, entitlement, self-sabotage, envy. Now, what do all those things combined in your life at the same time lead to? Neediness. Neediness. When you're in a state of neediness, you can't work toward anything. You're in a woe is me frame of mind where you can't focus on anything long enough to be effective at it. You can't focus on anything long enough to put in enough work at it, to put in the required work. You can't focus on anything long enough to find the joy in just the process. You can't, because you're in a mindset of neediness. You know what neediness means? Neediness is emptiness. When you hit a state where you have been overcome by neediness, you are empty. Think about it. If there's 10 things and you got 9, you don't feel needy. You're like, okay, let me get that 9, let me get that 10th thing. If there's 10 things and you have 5, you're like, hey man, cup half full, cup half empty. If there's 10 things and you have 3, you're like, man, I got to get on the ball. And I got these 3 things. If there's 10 things and you have 1, you say, at least my cup ain't empty. But if 10 things and you have none, you are empty and you are needy. Neediness leads to emptiness, leads to more neediness, leads to more emptiness. Do you see the cycle I'm talking about? Man, boy, let me tell you something. If you feel like your cup is empty, your cupboard is empty, your life is empty, all you can do is take. You can't even give to yourself. You can't even give to your mission. You can't even give to your goals. You can't even give God his just due. You can't give nothing because all you think about is, I'm so empty and I need so much. Victim mentality. Woe is me. Woe is me. And I want you to understand that you have to avoid that. Even if you have overcome these things, man, listen, you can't allow yourself, because you're a righteous man or a righteous woman, or you're godly, or you want to do the right thing and live a good life, that you think you're supposed to help people like that. No. You know, when you say, I'll help you if you help yourself, that's someone who's not even helping themselves. They're not even helping themselves because they feel so empty. They feel desperate because there's nothing they can do. They resent life and everyone in it because there's nothing they can do. They fear that they're going to just be that way forever. They're lazy about it because they feel like their efforts have not panned to anything. You meet somebody that's 40 years old, man, and they ain't never did nothing, they never got nothing, and they still in the worst struggle of their lives. What are they going to do? They going to say, man, I've been doing this for 40 years and they ain't got nothing. What I'm doing don't work, and they going to stop doing anything. You can't help somebody like that because there is no help for them. And I want you to understand that there is no help for them. There is no help. So you have to have the spiritual strength to stay away. And if you have made the mistake of being locked in with a person like that, my brothers, I implore you today, find the spiritual strength to pull away and stay away, because it's going to take you a minute to close that emotional wound that you've opened, that has been the source of your energy being drained by such an empty person. I want you to understand that, man. You have to pull away and take some time to yourself. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Listen, I ain't tell y'all this, man, but it's funny. 50 Cent said this as well, man. But what I'm doing this year, man, I'm abstaining for this year. Well, I'm abstaining through August. So through August, I'm abstaining, man. I'm practicing abstinence through August. That's what I'm doing, man. For me, I'm practicing abstinence until the autumn comes, until fall comes. So I don't know. I'm not saying you need to do that, but that's what I'm doing. That's just what I'm doing. We're already in February. So far, so good. So that's what I'm doing, man. That's what I'm doing. So, and actually December as well. So you can count December in there. So we're looking at 9 months. So that's just what I'm doing, man. That's what I'm doing because for me, I need to make sure that at this next phase of life, with the things that I have going on, with the things that I'm planning, I need to make sure that I have a clean slate and that all my energy is restored and is not being drained because there is no connection to a drainage source. You understand what I mean? There is no type of distraction. There is nothing that I'm focused on except my grind, except building, except being focused on myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, all of these things. Man, listen, it is time. Right now is the time to make sure that you are whole, that you are the most complete version of yourself. And I promise you, you can't do that, man, if you're always connecting intimately with your woman. You can't do it. You can't do it. So if you got a wife, baby, you can't do this. But to all my brothers out here, if you're in a position to do this, if you want to make this run with me, we'll make a big deal out of it, man. We'll make it a whole movement. You know what I'm saying? We'll make it a whole movement. You know, is that what y'all want to do? And I decided this because it's a leap year. I said, you know what? The next leap year, I'm just going to abstain throughout the year. So, and I may go all the way through December, but my plan is through August. But listen, so that means the warm months, all the warm months, man, I'm gonna be focused 100%. And see, with abstaining, it don't matter who showed me no attraction confirmation. It don't matter who showed me none of that. I'm not biting on none of that. I'm good. I ain't biting on none of that because it ain't nothing they can do for me. I'm going moving forward. If we could talk business, baby, let's talk business. But other than that, move out of my way. Move out of my way. If you ain't got nothing to say about increasing my pay, move out of my way because you cannot stay. You understand? So let's get there, man. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. I appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. It's been super real. We're going to do this, man. We're going to do what this is, man. You got big things going on, man. You got to understand. So, yeah, I thought it was funny, man, when 50 said that, man, because I started in December. So I was like, you know what, man, that's straight up right there. That's straight up. Because, man, you got to, man. Man, you listen, as a man, you have to understand that when God has something for you, he has it for you. Now, if you want to share it with your woman, with your kids, he has it for you. Your blessings are for you, not for your family. They're for you. And you share them with your family. Just always remember that. Our relationship with God it's between God and man. It ain't got to do with nobody else. It ain't got to do with your wife or your kids or none of that. It's between God and man. Remember that. So let's get on out of here, man. I see my brother, Jay Even. What's good, brother? Appreciate the dub. This channel 100% Fire tongue of sword. Salute to you, brother. I appreciate it. Listen, man, y'all go ahead. Enjoy your day, man. Listen, we'll be back in here on the King Ray Ray Show. Later on, man, we'll be in here at sometime this evening. I don't even want to give y'all a definite time, man. Just be tuned in. Well, you know what? Let me give y'all a definite time, man. We'll be in here. Y'all tune in. We'll be in here at... Let me check right quick. Hold up, homies. Let me check. Let me check to be sure. Checking the analytics, man. See what my live stream time is for today. What my best live stream time is for today. I'm going to tell y'all just a second, man. Y'all be patient. Give me a quick second. Today is Monday. All right. We'll be back in at 4. We'll be back in at 4. 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be back on the King Ray Ray Show, man. So y'all be here. I'll go ahead and put the show up, though. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe to the channel. Click your notification bell so you can know when we're coming back on, man. So we about to head out of here, man. I appreciate y'all being in the joint. Salute to the kingdom. Best up to the GLG. Famo. Triple gun salute. Let's head out of here, man. Peace.